I'm so pleased just to be inviting Ruth Calvert back onto the podcast, and we're on video form too, so it's all exciting. And Ruth is I don't know, she's had so many changes since I last spoke to her, so many changes. I'm really excited just to unpick what's happened since the birth of her daughter, and just to touch base on how it's been with her weight loss journey and all the bits in between. So welcome, Ruth. So pleased you're here.
Thank you for having me back.
You're welcome. So where do we start? Where do
I
we
know.
start? What happened? Because one moment I heard that, I think you messaged me to say that you'd gone to a university, or you got a place at this famous university, and next thing, you was pregnant. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it kind of, it did all happen quite quickly actually. I applied to the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts to do my master's, kind of almost like a bit of a joke really. I just didn't expect for 1 second I'd even get an audition or an interview, never mind a place on the course. But I did get an audition, and then in the audition they said, oh, we'll let you know within about 2 weeks or so. So I was okay, yeah, that's fine. And then literally within the space of about 3 hours, I'd had an email offering me a place, which I couldn't believe. I was just over the moon. It had always been a dream of mine to go to drama school, and I just didn't think it was something, I thought I'd missed my chance really, to be honest. I didn't think that it would happen. So yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And it was like, oh, the best thing that's ever happened to me. I was so excited. And then a few months later, I found out I was pregnant, which again was another dream, another absolute dream, and something that I didn't think was going to happen. So yeah, those were two pretty big things that have kind of happened since we last spoke.
And both of those things are just like next level. So just to go back a little bit to the offering of the university, I mean, to get a call within 3 hours of the interview, they must have been impressed. There must have been something that saw in you. And how did that feel, to feel that somebody could see that talent and recognize that possibility in you?
To be honest, my initial thing was, have they made a mistake? Are they sure? Like, are they sure they're right? But then as it kind of sunk in, it was kind of like, I suppose I felt really sort of validated as a practitioner in what I do for work. And it just felt really good to know that somebody of that sort of caliber believed in what I was doing and believed enough in me as a person to give me that opportunity, really.
I can imagine it must have felt so heartwarming, and such an amazing university to be part of. So the backstory to that university, that there's been some great artists go through that university, and you're going to be the next one, Ruth. So
I'm not sure about that.
I am so pleased. So having followed your weight loss journey with Slimming World, how did it feel being able to go for that interview in your slimmer self? How did it feel at the point that you went for that interview? How many dress sizes had you dropped from you at your larger self to when you went for that day?
At that point, I'd gone from a size 22 to a size 8. And I honestly don't think I would have even entertained applying if I hadn't have lost the weight. I just don't think I would have had the confidence to do it. So yeah, that was incredible to have that level of confidence, to just think, oh, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And then, yeah, that was the outcome.
Wonderful. And it just shows you, don't you, we look at these weight loss journeys, we look at the health aspects, we look at the getting to those clothes and those things that we really strive for, those goals. But at the end of it, this is something that you would have only ever dreamed of, and this was now your reality. So that must have filled you with so much hope for the future, and then to find out that you was pregnant.
I just couldn't believe it. Felt like I was living somebody else's life, to be honest.
so much goodness, and in such a like a short space of time. It was almost as if, you know, I'm going to get a bit woo-woo now, but it's almost as if like the universe was saying, you know, this is your time. We've got
Yeah,
this, and now
yeah,
you're going to have this. It was just truly
yeah.
poetic, the way that it happened.
Oh, definitely. But then it also caused a bit of worry because I kind of thought, oh no, I'm going to have to tell Lipa now that I'm pregnant, and they might say, oh, well, you can't come or something like that. But they were just so incredibly supportive, and they gave me leave of absence to go and have the baby and, you know, have my bonding time with her. And yeah, I start back in January, and I cannot wait to go back. I am so excited.
Oh, wonderful. I can't wait either. I know that I think we spoke before about playing out with one of your songs. I know he's a little bit nervous
Yeah,
about that, but
yeah.
honestly, no excuses now, Ruth. No
No, there isn't, is
excuses.
there? I'll definitely have to do something now.
Absolutely. So your baby that came along, if you just want to
Mhm.
announce your baby and her name.
Yeah, she is called Olivia, and she is genuinely the best thing that has ever happened to me. She is my absolute, the love of my life. She really is. She's incredible.
Oh, wonderful. And I know that you've had struggles to get pregnant. Is that something that you'd be
Yes,
happy to
yeah.
talk about?
Yes, yeah. I not long before I joined Slimming World, actually, I got diagnosed with polycystic ovaries, and so I knew that getting pregnant was going to be difficult in the first place, and it did take quite a while. And that with my first pregnancy, I found out I was pregnant. I think it was in like the November of 2018. But unfortunately, that didn't go so well. I had a miscarriage. So basically, I'd got to around, well, it was coming up to 12 weeks, but the baby hadn't developed past 5 weeks.
Mm.
And it was just, there was a lot more complications, and it kind of resulted in me, I ended up getting blue lighted to hospital, and it was all kinds of things going on. So that was quite a traumatic experience. So it took me a while after that to sort of decide, yeah, we'll start trying again. But eventually we did, and nothing was happening, and it kind of got to the point where I was like, okay, this obviously, it's not meant to be. And we kind of got to the point where we'd sort of given up, really. And then initially I thought it was like an early onset menopause type thing. I
Right.
didn't think for 1 second I was pregnant. But then I thought, well, I'll just do a test just to be sure. And then, yeah, lo and behold, I was pregnant. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was a real shock. It really was.
Yeah.
Because it just felt like it was never going to happen. And like I say, I'd spent a lot of time kind of getting myself to a place where I felt okay with not having a child.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a real shock.
Oh, wow. I know that looking at your Instagram account when you post a picture of you and Olivia, it's so cute. And I know that you just totally loved up. How does it feel being able to have this gift that you thought was just totally unattainable? How does it feel? Can you even put it into words?
I don't think I can, to be honest. It's I still feel like I'm like, I mean, she's 7 months old now, and I still feel like I'm pinching myself that, she's really here. And I wake up every morning and I look at her and I just cannot believe that she's there.
Oh,
She's just, yeah, she's just the best thing that's ever happened, to be honest.
oh, that's beautiful. And how about your dog? I don't know your dog's name, but I know you post about him. How is your
Yeah.
dog around the baby? Because I know that it can be like really protective and
Yeah, I
all,
was
and so
really, really concerned about the dog, to be honest, because
okay,
she's a working security dog. So
right,
she's quite, she can be quite aggressive, and she's not very, very good with people that she doesn't know. So obviously that was a real concern with the baby. And we had like a plan that, if things didn't go well, you know, she was going to go to work with somebody else, and you know, she would leave our home. But she's been absolutely brilliant with her. She sits next to her, she's very protective over her. She'll let, like, Olivia will try to stroke her, but she'll end up pulling half her fur out, and she just doesn't react to it at all. I mean, the thing that I've had to watch the most is that she keeps trying to like lick Olivia's face, so I have to kind of stop her from doing that. But yeah, she's been absolutely brilliant, so I was so relieved that it was okay. Yeah,
so everything's like falling into place, and
yeah.
honestly, I just could not be more made up for you for trying. I'm really just
Oh,
seeing
thank
those
you.
posts and seeing you so happy and knowing how much you wanted this baby, and now,
Yeah.
you know, with the university place, it's a fantastic story, and I'm so pleased that you're on here to share this. So in terms of your weight loss journey, like any new mum, you know, we've got that baby weight, and
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
kind of that balance, isn't it, about, you know what, I've just spent 9 months creating a
Yeah.
child, I'm not going to
Yeah.
beat myself up, but that pull to want to be back to that size, and to make those
Yeah.
healthy steps along with that sleep deprivation.
Do you know, I can't even blame the baby for my sleep deprivation. She
Okay.
has slept all night since about 10 weeks.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but I still have really bad insomnia, but it's not her fault at all. She sleeps, she's great. She goes down about 8:30 in the evening, and sometimes she'll sleep right through till 9 o'clock in the morning. She's
Wow.
absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I still have a lot of sleep deprivation, but that's just my own insomnia that's still kicking about after many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And walking back through that door, that Slimming World door, after making that decision to rejoin, how did it feel for you? How have you felt it? Has it felt any different to how it did in the past when you used to be on plan, to now having Olivia around and all those changes?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I did kind of struggle a little bit with putting the weight on during the pregnancy. Like I haven't put anything near what, you know, where I was before when I first joined Slimming World, but there's definitely a noticeable weight gain. But you know, a lot of that was down to the amount of anxiety that I felt during my pregnancy, because obviously due to the miscarriage before, I was kind of extremely anxious, and some sort of old kind of eating habits, they kind of creep in a little bit, because I've always been a bit of an emotional eater.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I had quite a few scares with Olivia as well, you know, in hospital quite a lot for reduced movement, so that didn't help. So yeah, there was a lot of anxiety, and as a result I probably did put more weight on than I would have done sort of under more kind of normal circumstances. And then I thought, I kind of worked myself up a bit, to be honest, about going back to Slimming World, because I just thought everyone was going to judge me, and people were going to be like, oh look, she's not, you know, where she used to be. This, you know, it's just your own kind of
Your own
stuff, isn't it, really?
stuff.
But when I did go back, I couldn't have been more wrong. Like, everyone was just so happy to see me back. Everyone was really supportive, really encouraging. They all wanted to see pictures of Olivia. So yeah, to be honest, going back was the best thing I could have done. And yeah, the weight is coming off now, so I'm hoping to be back to where I was before I go back to Lipa in January. So that's my kind of goal. So yeah, things are going well with that now.
I'm so pleased to hear that, and it's lovely to hear that, you know, you had that welcome after having felt,
Yeah,
you know, you might be judged,
yeah,
and I couldn't understand that, but you know, it's our
yeah,
own stuff, isn't it? It's our own stuff, and like you say, you've been making a
yeah,
baby, you've been making a
yeah,
baby, so
yeah.
it's all natural, and to be able to get back into that is wonderful. How are you feeling about the foods that you're now eating? Are you able to work that back into life now? Are you finding things a little bit tougher trying to get that balance? Do you find you're having to plan more meals? How does that work for you when you're looking at those foods that you would eat compared to what you would normally eat?
Yeah, I'm definitely having to plan a lot more now, because the time that I did used to have, I don't have anymore. and I go back to work the end of August, so I'm going to have even less time then. So like planning is definitely a key thing. And I've also like changed what I've been eating in terms of, before on my slimming world journey, it was my main meals were always made up of like the speed food and the free food, and I'd use my sins for snacking basically.
Yeah.
So I've completely changed that now, and I use my sins like within my cooking.
Mm.
And as a result of that, I found that I don't want to snack anymore. Because I'm like enjoying my food a lot more. I'm getting more
Yeah.
satisfaction from what I've been eating. I'm not like looking for something else in between meals, which has also worked out well because I haven't really got time, to be kind of making snacks and things in
Yeah.
between the main meals. So yeah, that's working really well for me at the moment.
That's wonderful. I'm really pleased that you found that, and I've been looking at batch cooking and all those different things, and even like little things where you can actually buy these bags. I was watching something, I think it was Phil and Hollywood, this lady on the chef, and she's saying that rather than like worry about defrosting chicken, if you cut the chicken up and freeze it in a bag and lay the bag flat and allow it to like freeze individually, stand the bag up and obviously it'll all drop down, then you can take that and put it straight into a curry. You don't have to let it defrost. And that for me
Oh,
was like,
okay.
really? Wow.
That's brilliant.
So I've been taking those like little tips. I don't do a lot of batch cooking, but I batch cook soups and things like bolognese and curries, and I think for me that really helps. So I'm glad to hear that's helping you too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
just to hear that
definitely.
you're using your sins for the food, and that taste is, it tastes different, doesn't it, when you're not having
Oh,
bland food?
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Even, things like, if I'm like, I've been eating a lot of like quinoa and things like that, which I absolutely love. And then I use like feta cheese as like a healthy extra I'll have with that. But then, because I've been using my sins just for cooking, like in the evening, for example, I'll have like a halloumi wrap, but I'll sin the halloumi rather than. So it's like you can have more sort of. I feel like I'm having more choice now about what
Yeah,
I'm eating by using them in that way.
absolutely. And I've not
Yeah.
spoken for so long, so I'm not eating anything sugary. And for anybody that's listening now that's not aware, but I actually took Ruth into hypnosis, into a session of hypnosis, just brand new to it, and I've not eaten any chocolates, any sweets, any cake since November of last year.
Wow, that's
Gone all the way
incredible.
through Christmas, Easter. And I've got no, it's not that I'm being good, I've got no desire through hypnosis. So having experienced hypnosis with me, and having had those complications with the pregnancy and feeling that pain and then having that pain released, I'm sure that people will be listening to this podcast thinking, well, this is a little bit Star Trek. This is a little bit Star Trek. But just want to talk a little bit about those physical pains that you experienced in your body after having the.
Yeah. So my pain started towards like the end of the first trimester, beginning of the second. I had pelvic girdle pain quite bad, and it just got progressively worse throughout the whole pregnancy, to the point where towards the end I could barely walk. It was just excruciating, and then that has kind of continued. It didn't ease off after the pregnant, after having Olivia. So I now have, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but it's like a joint that's within the pelvis, and it's dysfunction of that, and that's what's kind of causing the pain. Basically, my pelvis hasn't gone back into the correct position, so I'm having to kind of work through that. I'm having physio and seeing a specialist for that. So yeah, hopefully we'll get somewhere near.
I really do hope, and
Soon.
I know exactly how you feel, because I was in a wheelchair before and after I had my son.
Oh, it's
It's just like, yeah,
horrible.
I could not stand, and it. The only way I could describe it is if somebody had got the knee and just kicked me between the legs. It was
Yeah,
literally. And then
yeah, it's so
afterwards, I'm
painful.
gonna, if there's any guys watching or listening, I'm just gonna say it out is I literally couldn't bend to pick up my own pants to dress myself.
No,
I
yeah,
couldn't. I had to get help to get that. And as soon as they got like passed onto my thighs, I was okay. But
yeah.
bending down and then walking up the stairs,
Oh, yeah,
with every step I felt every step.
yeah.
and it was just horrendous. I couldn't take Oliver for his first walk until he was about 4 months old. So I totally hear you, and I know how that pain feels. So I really hope that you get that support and you receive that medical attention that you really, really need. I really do. So in terms of hypnosis and what we did earlier before we started to record this podcast, those sensations that you're feeling, and before I took you into hypnosis, I asked you how that sensation was, and you said that between a scale of 0 and 10, 0 having no pain and 10 being the most, that you was about a 7. So do you want to share just a little snippet about how it felt going into hypnosis and receiving that?
It was amazing, to be honest. It was the most relaxed I've ever felt, as far as I can remember. I'm not very good at relaxing. I'm quite a high-strung person, but that was, I just felt as though I didn't have anything that was worrying me, anything that was bothering me, and I was just able to completely relax fully. And in doing that, my pain, the pain that I was in, just seemed to kind of melt away.
That's it. And what I did was I turned that down. We did a couple of things. I took the healing light in with you and got that to drift that down all the way down your body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And it's funny because within hypnosis, we're dealing with the subconscious mind, but the mind doesn't come back from fiction. So that's why we can get obsessed with like spiders being like this fearful thing when they're only teeny tiny. It's because we believe stories. So within hypnosis, because we don't know fact from fiction, we can look at that pain release. I'm so pleased I've been able to help you. And that's exactly the help that I received for help with my craving. You know, I've had help with my binge eating disorder, with PTSD, and once I've had that larger work done, I was able to get that help done for sugar cravings, and that's something that I'll probably be helping you with in the future too. And it's fantastic to know that you can walk into a room and not crave those foods, to resist it. You know, I've been on an all-inclusive holiday. I went away a couple of weeks ago, I went to Spain for 3 nights. I didn't even put any weight on, I maintained. It's just unheard of.
That's brilliant.
And talking about like taste of foods and having that taste in your meal, you know, I do cook with garlic butter, I do cook with oil, I don't cook with a lot of it, and I sin it, but that's where I use my sins for. And I think when you look at those savoury tastes, it just brings food to life, doesn't it? It really, really does. There's so many amazing tastes that you can have with savoury food, with using like things like garlic oil, chili oil, loads
chili
of
oil.
things.
I love chili oil.
Absolutely love it. So we've looked at where you've been in the past and where you are now with your Slim and Well journey. We've got to use that word. We've got to throw that word in, haven't we?
Yes.
Journey.
Journey.
Everyone's on a journey. So what are your hopes for the future? What is it that you're looking forward to? It just sounds that you're in such a good place. What is it you'd like to do?
Yeah, definitely. I am really looking forward to getting back to Target. I am really looking forward to going back to Lipa, to completing my masters, graduating, and just trying to kind of be the best mum I can be, the best example I can be to Olivia, and to raise her to be, you know, strong and resilient, and to like know her worth. That now is kind of like my main focus in life, is to just give her everything I can and to create the best life for her, really.
Oh, it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And you know, you are an amazing mom. You're doing everything already for Olivia, and it's fantastic to hear that bond, to hear that love for your daughter. And I wish you all the best for the future. If anybody's listening that's new to your weight loss journey, if you just want to just give your Instagram handle, and I'll put it in the show notes too, please.
Yeah, it's Ruth Louise _SW.
Wonderful. And if anybody would like to follow Ruth and her journey, you might get the odd picture of Olivia here and there.
Sorry.
So honestly, don't apologise. A beautiful photos. Go and follow Ruth, and I'm looking forward to maybe a couple of photos of that university. Is it like a really old building? What is it like? Is it?
Yeah, I think I have got a couple of photos up on my Instagram. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's quite an old building. They've got an amazing theatre there. They've got the Paul McCartney auditorium in there. And yeah, it's just, the facilities are just phenomenal. They're just, yeah, it's incredible. It's a beautiful building.
Sometime soon you're going to send us some audio that I can put on the end of a podcast.
Yes, I will. I promise. I will.
Promise. Pinky promise. It's been
Pinky
wonderful.
promise. Yeah.
It's been wonderful to chat with you, and anybody that wants some inspiration, I mean, you know, look no further. Ruth she's got it all going on. She's so positive, you know, with a backstory. And I'll also pop the link in the show notes of the previous podcast episode that Ruth joined me on. And this just shows what is possible when you put your mind to something. And I can't wait to see your next steps, Ruth. Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much.
You
appreciate everything, and thank you for the hypnosis as well.
No problem. Take care. Thank you.
And you. Bye.